Good morning everybody, welcome back to cilinixfxcapital and welcome to this new video, your daily update right here on XRP. We're going to do a full update. We'll talk about the technicals, we'll talk about the fundamentals. I mean, honestly, at this point of time, the markets are quite tricky. I bought some crypto on Saturday morning, which I'm still fairly happy with, but outside of that, my exposure to the market right now is extremely low. And the key reason for that is that the circumstances right now influencing the markets are just quite hard to predict, right? So we are going to cover XRP right here, but ultimately it's quite difficult after a move like we had on Friday, which is still a couple of days ago. It's quite difficult to say what's next. And ultimately, it's also very much dependent on news and development on the trade situation between China and the United States, which I have no edge on, all right? I don't know what's going to happen. A lot of things could happen. There are some geopolitics experts that probably know more than me. I would have a slightly bullish bias, but then over the course of this morning, which is the key reason why we've seen a bearish XRP, you can actually see that the S&P 500, so equities pre-market, have dropped down quite a bit. I mean, we've dropped down here from the top to the bottom almost a percentage point. That's pre-market. I mean, we almost never did that in the last couple of months. So that's relevant. That pushed prices down lower. Outside of that, we can see that Bitcoin is still relatively strong. XRP BTC has actually turned into some sort of a downtrend right here, which is not great. There is a strong support level right here, or a little bit lower. But that's not where we are right now. So I would not expect XRP to outperform Bitcoin specifically right now, also given the fundamentals. What you see very often is that when there's bad news or when there's tension worldwide, Bitcoin just outperforms everything. So that's not great. And then when we specifically talk about XRP right here and what to expect, which is obviously why you picked this video. Look, yesterday I said I think we can rally a little bit higher, but that was dependent on no bad news coming out, or at least the market not pricing in worse news. And I do think that has happened, even though we haven't had major developments. Maybe the lack of bearish developments, or maybe the lack of developments in general, is already considered bearish. And now you can see a low volume grind down over the course of this Asian session mainly, but now the European session has just opened and it has continued. Dare I say, the volume has ramped up. And the first support level that we reached here, the upper part of this fair value gap, hasn't really created a strong reaction. The weak low that we created over the course of yesterday also provided no reaction. So I would say it's a little bit more likely that we will push down. And of course, if we get good news, if we get good fundamentals, great. We can easily reclaim 2.55, which I would say is quite relevant right now. And we can still rally into 2.75. But given the well, I would almost call it fear in the markets, or at least it looks like a fearful move. And given the weak reaction we've seen so far at the first support, I would argue it's a little bit more likely that XRP is going to test those weak lows we made at 2.3 and the yearly rolling VWAP on Coinbase at least towards 2.25, and that from there we will be able to find support. But that from there we are very, very dependent on the fundamental developments, right? Do we actually see some de-escalation? Okay, then we can get a move into 2.75 and 2.8. But given the high time frame structure right here, and given the fact that XRP has fallen back into this range, this previous range between 2.8 and $2, I think we also have to take into account that a move into 2.2 and 2.1 is a possibility. Purely technically, it's a possibility. And I'm not telling you it is going to happen, but if we get some bad news, we can easily do that. All right, so for now, I think it's more likely that XRP will push down lower, but that will find support at 2.35 and 2.3, right? So that's still relatively high. And that's still on top of the point of control of the previous range. So from there, we can still reclaim that level at 2.8 and rally again. But I am overall, when we're talking about my bias, I'm very cautious on XRP, and I would not buy XRP right there. But those are my personal thoughts. I think that's what you need to know regarding the markets for now. So thank you for watching. That's it, and trade safely, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care and bye.